Good morning. This is Money, Markets, and Motivation, brought to you for information and educational purposes only. It's your responsibility to do your own due diligence. A word of the day is aegis. Aegis is a word of the day. The protection, backing, or support of a particular person, organization. In classical art and mythology, an attribute of Zeus and Athena, or their Roman counterparts, Jupiter and Minerva, usually represented as a goatskin shield. His research flourished thanks to the aegis of a generous grant. So there we have it. Now we're going to move over to our heat map. Our heat map, I think this was still from yesterday, so we're going to refresh it. Looks a little better. Apple is up 2.5%. They were down 1% yesterday. I think they may have gotten a boost from the Google settlement. Google is up a little over 8%. Tesla is bouncing up 3.6%, but the rest of the market is pretty much in the chill zone. So that is the story with that. Let's go over to our crypto charts. Make sure we got the most refreshed charts here. It looks a little better. Bitcoin is bouncing up to 112. Ethereum is up almost to 4,500. And you can see the rest of our list here. XRP is getting close to 290. So that is our story there. And let us pause for a second. So if you think the market is getting extended, and some people definitely do, you might want to think of one of these accounts. They go up when the market goes up. When the market goes down, they do not go down. They stay level till the market goes up again. Beat index investing because of this by about 5% per year. And that's a nice big chunk. So that is the story with that. If you want to learn more about that and how a lot of people saved a bunch of money in 2008 when the market was, please check in with me. So we're going to go now over to our charts. So interesting, this is a Hong Kong-based company. It really crashed over here, and now it looks like it's breaking out. See if we get the latest here. It is continuing up. Let us go back to our IPO here. This is SI. Looks like it tried to break out over here, and it is pulling back today off 3.68%. But first, let us go take a look at the indexes. Got a gap up on the NASDAQ today, up 0.79%, gets back to his 10 and 20-day moving average. The equal weight is not doing as well. It is off 0.33%. S&P 500 gaps up as well, gets up to its 10-day moving average. The equal weight in the S&P, much like on the NASDAQ, is actually falling 0.37%. IWM, the Russell 2000, holding steady off 0.21%. And finally, the Dow Jones, it's pulling back. Let's look at some of the sub-indexes. The semiconductor continues to fall. We're going to go over to the VIX. The VIX pulling back a little bit, not quite filling the gap, but eventually it will. Here is a 10-year Treasury. It has definitely filled the gap from yesterday, off 1.5%. 20-year has filled the gap as well, off 2.54%. And let's look at the 20-year Treasury. And on an upward move, it has filled the gap as well, up 1.24%. Take a look at KBWB, pulling back to its 10-day moving average. And the financial sector pulling back. Communications, I think would be, got a gap up here on the Google News, up 1.29. Google just powers through its profit zone here. So if you had that, would be a good place to take at least partial profits. It's always good to sell on strength. Our aerospace and defense is pulling back to the 10 and 20-day moving average. Real estate, I thought it would bounce, but it did not. It's off another 0.26%. Utilities pulling back. Home builders do get a bounce, and it looks like they're trying to fill the gap here, up 0.32%. See if biotech continues its strong move. It did move up earlier, and it fell back to right in line where it was yesterday. Take a look at the other biotech. It's pulling back 0.25%. Software is trying to bounce back a little bit, not quite filling the gap, but we'll continue to watch that. Technology is trying to fill the gap. Looked like it may have filled the gap and then sold off, up 0.31%. Infrastructure pulling back. Consumer discretionary with that Tesla move is filling the gap from yesterday, up 0.77%. Airlines up 0.5%. We're up much higher earlier, and they're pulling back. Industrials selling off. Healthcare not improving any, down another 0.73% today. Consumer staples still living below the 200-day moving average. Nothing good happens below the 200-day. Building materials continues its sell-off, off 0.56%. Metals and mining holding kind of steady there. And finally, uranium gets a nice bounce, up 2.4% for the day. Let's go take a look where the big money is flowing today. Fannie Mae gets a big jump, gets into the pivot zone, up a little over 7%. Liquidia, which was on this list yesterday, continues to rise, up 4.2%. SMR was on this list yesterday, said it could move to the right side of its base. This might be a buy point as it clears the 50-day moving average right here on pretty strong volume, up 12.7%. Yeah, it's higher volume than yesterday. Rev G Group, trying to clear. This looks like a stair stepper. Up 8% today. Western Digital definitely clears this area, up 4.59%. Pretty good volume. Ionis Pharmaceuticals had a gap up yesterday and a big rise in price, and it continues up higher, up 4.57% today. Tower Semiconductor follows through as it went through its profit zone. It has cleared this little shelf here, up 3.71%. Genius Sports looked like it tried to break out of that little shelf and is pulling back into the base. Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals, it broke out yesterday and it is just stair-stepping higher and higher. FTI, Technique FMC, pops into the pivot zone. Relative strength rises to 87. Relative strength at a new high here. It is beating 87% of the stocks on the market. So you may want to take a look at that one. This is one we haven't seen for a while, Southern Copper. Looks like it's cleared this consolidation. It has cleared 100. Volume is a little light here. They're looking for a 13% increase in profit this year, and then down 4% next year. Ollie's Bargain Outlet. This is where Target and a few other brands sell off their merchandise. Earnings up 17% this year, another 16% next year. I think I would wait for it to clear this 50-day moving average before moving into this. Frontline, I think this is another oil related company, breaks out of the pivot zone and a big gap up 4.21% today. So that is our chart analysis for the day. Now we are going to go look at we're going to go look at our quote of the day. And our quote of the day comes from, has moved a little bit from where I wanted to be. It is number 4. Investing should be more like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. If you want excitement, take $800 and go to Las Vegas. This comes from Paul Samuelson. So that is our show today. Money, markets, and motivation with Mike. Hope everybody has a great day. Hope you're motivated to go out there and help others and who may need your help. And thanks for tuning in on Wednesday.